In this part 5 and the final part of our How to Make Great Lessons Using Smart Notebook, I'm going to show you how to make an activity out of this weather vocabulary, and you can see the book I took it from here and the activity I made here on the top left. And then I'm going to show you how I made this map, which is interactive and enables students to give a presentation of the weather from their country. And finally, I'm going to show you how to make your own version of the British game of Blockbusters. In this activity, I'm going to use these vocabulary words and put them into order of weather, adjective, temperature and extreme weather, and I've made this fun activity whereby if it goes into the correct box, it spins. If it goes into the wrong, it bounces back. And this is quite fun, and I use it to make a game where 1 point is yellow, 2 point is green, 3 point is pink. The next activity is this one with the weather. In fact, this one's much better. And here I've just copied a map from the internet, and the students come up and give their weather forecast. They can say it's sunny everywhere, and it's good practice for them to be a weather presenter. In addition, you can have each pair of students write their own weather forecast together, so one could read out the weather forecast and the other could do the actions on the board. And I'm going to show you how I made this printed document using the printer facility over here on the Smart Notebook. And here is their printing facility, as it were. And I'll show you all that later. Finally, I'm going to show you how to make your own version of Blockbusters, where you can have the clues, you decide what the clue should be, and you can either have letters, or it's better perhaps to have numbers, because there are not so many words with X that you can teach language beginners. And then you can do this. So I'm going to show you all of this in the next segment. So our first port of call is how to make this weather activity. So let's move over to a blank document, and as you can see, we might want to be reminded of the instructions. So let's make this a little larger. We're going to zoom in. I'll just get rid of this circle. And I'm going to use Windows Shift S in order to just copy the instructions. And I'll use Control V to paste. And that doesn't need to be too large. I'm going to lock it down again with Control K. Go back, and now I want to make 3 boxes, as I have here, in order to put in the vocabulary. So let's make the boxes first. We'll go here, we'll choose this shape, and we'll make it about that shape. That should be enough. And just so that all the squares are the same size, we go back to this. I just want to make sure it fits on here, and maybe make it a bit longer. And then what I'm going to do is simply just click on it and clone that page and clone it again. So I have 3 boxes the same size. And once again, if I want to get them level, highlight the 3 of them and use this leveler, align top. So now we have our boxes, let's color them in. So click on the first one, we'll color that yellow. On the second one, we'll color it green. Maybe a lighter green. No, that green. And the next one, we'll color that pink. Now we just need to add the vocabulary. So we'll go back to the PDF, and because I have already had this OCR'd, I am able to click on the arrow and highlight the vocabulary. Now, if your book has already been OCR'd, it's quite easy to highlight the text here, copy, and simply paste it here. And you'll see the text there, and we can move it here. And if I double click inside, you can see I can highlight each word, drag it out of the box, and simply move it here, which is quite a quick way. However, what if you don't have your text OCR'd? I'll just delete this. We'll go back here. Now there are 2 ways to take text from an image where it isn't like you see before you, already text recognized. And what you can do is use either PDF Exchange or OneNote, the official one, not the free version. So I'll show you first on PDF Exchange, which is the viewer, and it's free. It has its own OCR recognizer, and if you go to my YouTube website, type in Tefl-Dude and look for PDF Exchange and PDF Annotator for editing documents, and go to the timing of 14 minutes and 14 seconds, I will show you, and you can see here for yourself, that there is, within document, an ability to OCR pages. So watch this short video if you haven't had your PDF optically recognized. The second way is to simply use the camera setting here to copy the image, or again, if you're on Windows, you can use Windows Shift S. Simply copy the image, and I've already pasted it here, but I can paste another one, paste that here, and you'll notice when I right click it says copy text from picture. So I can copy the text from the picture, right click, paste, and there is my vocabulary, which I can copy and paste into the Smart Notebook. However, it doesn't work with the free version. Now this is the free version, and unfortunately if I right click here, there is no such ability. So unfortunately that's only with the, let's say, the full version in the Microsoft Office system. So I'm going to simply copy the text here and paste it into here. Once again, I have two ways to take the individual words out. I can either highlight and move them one by one, which is quite quick, or I can open a new page, type in splitter, and use the text splitter. So I'll just Control V. It's not gone in, so you just do that, and I'll split the words. And there I have all the words already split for me to use. So I can highlight those words, or maybe before I go back to the other page, as I know I need the words on the bottom, it might be wiser for me to simply move them to that area first. Also, they look a little large, so I might actually shrink them down a bit. So I'll just highlight them all and change their size to maybe 20. That's a lot better. And I'll just Control C, copy them, and Control V, paste them, and drag them down where I want them. So I'll just move them here. Okay, so now we have the words. I'll just change their color to blue, make them bold. And now we come to the interesting part where we're going to make the words reject or be admitted to certain areas. And how we do that is we go to this last area here, and it says Activity Builder. And if you have the newer version, you also still have the Activity Builder, but you have other add-ons that we don't have on the earlier version. So we click on Activity Builder, and what we have to do is identify the block. So make this object an activity object. So we're going to edit it, and we put the words here that are accepted and the words that are rejected. So for the weather, we'll simply do dry. Now I'm holding the Control button down so I can click foggy, snowy, sunny, cloudy, rainy, and I think that's that. So let's just drag those in. I think wet might be another one. And let's just drag those in here. And to save me having to reject the other ones, we just simply add all remaining. And you can see all the remaining have an X, so they won't be allowed. One more thing before we finish, make sure you go to Settings, otherwise the letters will just fade out. Once you put them in the box, they'll disappear. And I prefer to keep them visible, so I'm going to say spin. And when they're rejected, they bounce back. So done. And now I should be able to put the word blizzard, and you can see it just bounces back. Whereas if I put the word snowy, it spins and stays there. And that's all you have to do. You simply have to do the same for the next box and the next box. You edit it, put in the words that are accepted and rejected, and you're done. A final thing you need to do is obviously to Control K and lock it down. And regarding the words, make sure you highlight them all, and I think it was Shift Control and V. Let's see, yeah. Allow move, Shift Control V, just so that they can't be changed in size or color by anybody else. Okay, so that's the weather game done. Next, let's move on to how we're going to make this. And this takes a matter of minutes. So we'll simply go to a new page. And I'll go to the internet where I can find a map of Spain. You simply click on it and you can either save it or just go Shift Control S like I'm doing. And then I'll paste that here. Again, I can stretch it to make it more square. And then lock it down, Control K. Now I just need some weather icons. I could take the ones from the book, which are down below here, or I could find my own on the internet, so you can just Google that. So here we have some nice weather icons, and you could simply just copy and paste them using the camera tool available here. So if I get the camera tool, here it is, go back to the internet, and I simply, let's go at the sun, and that's automatically pasted into the page. So I can stay here and do the lightning one. I can do I like the raindrops here, that's quite good for rain. And maybe a cloud. So let's go back to my lesson, and as you can see, they've all been posted here, which is great. They're a bit large, but not to worry, you can see some are in front of the others. But you can just simply make them smaller, make them so they're manageable. So make this a bit smaller. And the lightning. And the sun. Okay, so we've got 4 icons, and all we need to do is just highlight them all and clone them infinitely so that you have as many suns as you want. So the students come up to the board and give you the weather, rain there, some cloudy in Catalonia, and it's great. In order to prepare them to do this, we can also print a sheet out for them. But before I move on, remember, once one person's done theirs, you can simply, if you're on the select tool, select them all and press this X button and it will delete them. Another way you can do it is if I save this document, now when I move lots of things, you can go to Edit Reset Page, and it asks you, do you want to do that? You say yes, and everything's gone back to the way it was originally. This is a great idea. So let's move on to making the printed worksheet for them to do an exercise. You simply go to File and Print. Now this is what I want, but I want 3 of these maps, not these other things. So what we need to do is simply clone the page 2 more times, and then when I go to print, I can choose these pages. So it's pages 3 to 5, And you can see I have the map, but make sure, obviously you can send it to your printer, but ideally make it a PDF first. So we'll print that off. We'll call it map. And there you have it. We can print that off and give it to each pair of students, and they can write in what they're going to say when they do the weather. Finally, we turn to Blockbusters. So I'm going to show you how to put this and use it as a game in two ways. One, you can, well, let's make a fresh page, and we'll drop that page below. You can simply go to the internet, copy one of these images, Shift Windows S, and simply paste it here. So that's one way to make your Blockbusters, but then you're resigned to having these letters. So we could try and make our own blank one, or you could just simply blank out these letters. If you wanted to blank out the letters, it's quite simple. We'll press Ctrl K to lock it down, and all we need to do is find a shape that fits in here, which would be this one. Now let's see if we can change the shape in any way. Yes, we can. So we can, if we wanted to, make it so it kind of fits this icon, and then we can fill that shape with a color. So let's fill it with a color. We're looking for that color. Is that good enough? Hey, that's quite good. So we can make the border that color as well. And you have a blank. So all we have to do is infinite clone. And simply, I thought I made it infinite clone. Hang on, let's go again. Infinite cloner. Okay, there we go. And you can see I can simply block off all the colors. And I'll pause while I do this quickly. Now, once you have all of them covered, remember to highlight them all and just press Control K, or you could press Control G, make them like a group box, and then Control K. So that's that. And if you want to put numbers in, very simple, you just get your text tool, put 1, put 2, etc., etc. And again, once they are all done, you need to lock them down as well. Okay, and then you can have your squares on top. Obviously you need to make a blue and yellow square, so let's try and do that. Normally on the official game, these are quite the normal shape. You could use that shape, for instance. So once we have our shape, we just clone it. Well, actually, we'll just copy to make 2 of them. So clone that one. So we're going to have a white and a blue one, I believe. So that one stays as it is, but it needs to have a white color. So simply click on it and make it white. And now you can put it in the square. And obviously this one has to be blue. And that's good enough. If you want more blues, if you want to get the exact blue, you can define the custom color and see if your eye is good enough to get that color. It's always a bit hit and miss unless you're very good at art and you can see. I could see the color there. Add to custom color. Click OK. And there it is. And now all I have to do is clone this one infinitely, clone this one infinitely, and there's your Blockbuster game. And you can do all that. Before I go, I'd like to show you how you can make your own from scratch. So here's one that I have, and we're going to make it from scratch by making hexagonals first. So let's go here first, and we simply get our shape, and that's the one I prefer, that size, and simply clone it. So you go here and do infinite cloner, and now I can make my own game. So this is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause and I'll flash to the finished game. Okay, here we have the finished game. Now remember, all of these are individual apart from this one, which has been cloned. I am going to move one out because I will need 2 teams, so I'll make that. But now it no longer needs to be cloned, so I'm going to turn off the infinite cloner, and I'm going to simply leave it as it is for now. Okay, so we have our hexagonals, and what I'm going to do is group them together. So press Ctrl and G, and you can see they become one giant square. Now what I'm going to do is put a coloured background, so I'm going to draw a big square like that, and click on the arrow, click on the colour. I'm going to make it green. No, let's go red. I'll make it red. You'll see it's covered over because it's actually set in the foreground. So we just need to order it and set it to the background. Try that again. However, we forgot to make the hexagonals white, which is why they are of no colour. So we just click on the hexagonals and go to white. Now, I just want to make the sides green so that the students know that they need to build a wall of green from left to right. To do that, I'm going to make a triangle. So I'm going to draw a triangle. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Draw that like that. That's good. So I'm just going to draw that here and make it nice and long. In fact, probably should make it a bit, I want it to be about there, so let's see if I can do that. Okay, that's not so bad. Just move it here. Oh yeah, I forgot, I need to lock these down. So I'm going to lock that down, Control K, and the square, Control K, so they don't move. And I'm going to simply put my triangle there. Now I need one on the other side, so I'm going to clone it and then flip it. So clone it and then I'm going to flip it. I think it's up and down, yes. So I can now put that there. And what I'm going to do is fill it with green. So click on that, fill it with this nice dark green. Do the same for this. Okay, but now they are at the front. Like I said, they need to be in the background. So let's move them to the back. Now they may have gone too far to the back, so let's move it to the front a bit. And there you go, we've brought it forward. So once again, move it right to the back. And then just move it forward one step. And we can lock that down as well. Let's highlight everything and Control K, lock down. So there is my blockbuster. I simply have to make this the color red and this one the color green. And then I just need to infinitely clone them. Infinite cloner, infinite cloner, and now they fit perfectly on the squares. The only thing you need to do now is decide whether you want letters in here or numbers. Once again, if it's numbers, you just click 1 and 2, etc. And remember to select them, highlight them, and Control K so that they can't be moved. And then you're on your way to play Blockbusters. So there you go. And remember, once the game's done, you just highlight everything and click the X. And that will delete everything that wasn't locked down. So if you moved a few of these out, it doesn't matter, you just select and click X and they disappear. So I hope you've enjoyed this 5-part series. I know it's been long, but it's an in-depth review of many of the methods I use in teaching. I love technology. I think it's great. The kids love it. So I enjoy planning lessons and they enjoy learning. So let me know in the comments if you want me to figure out anything else for you. If you're having some troubles, if you have some book you're not sure how to make into PDF, I have plenty of videos on how to make your textbooks PDF, how to do many things with them. So keep in touch and subscribe below.